You saw the message. You watched the 3 little dots appear and then vanish. And now your chest is tight, your thumb is already typing the 3rd text you swore you wouldn't send, and a voice in your head is screaming that something is wrong. Here's what nobody told you. That panic isn't neediness. It's an alarm going off, and it has a name. And the worst part? The spiral doesn't just hurt, it makes you act in the exact way that pushes a calmer partner further away. You text again. They feel pressure. They pull back more. You text again. The panic becomes self-fulfilling. The thing you're most afraid of, them leaving, you're accidentally building the case for. There's one move that actually breaks this loop. But first you need to see what's firing underneath it, because once you can name it, it loses most of its power. If you want to understand the mechanism behind stuff like this, not a lecture, not a label, subscribe. That's it. Here's what's actually happening when those dots disappear. Your nervous system just registered a threat. Not a thought, a threat. The same system that made you cry as a baby when your caregiver left the room is doing the exact same thing right now, in your chest, at 2 in the morning, over a text. Psychologists call it protest behavior. It's the first stage of what happens when an attachment bond feels threatened. And here's the thing, it's not a bug. It's working exactly as designed. Your system's job is to get the other person back. Reach louder, scan harder, escalate. In a baby, protest looks like crying and crawling toward the door. In you, it looks like texting. Checking their last scene time. Scrolling their stories for clues. Typing that 3rd message you swore you wouldn't send. Same alarm, different century. In 1969, a psychologist named Bowlby mapped the exact sequence. He watched what happened when a bond was interrupted, in infants first, then in adults, and found the same 3-stage sequence every time. Stage 1, protest. The system mobilizes. It reaches, it cries, it escalates, it does everything it can to force the other person back into proximity. There's a stage 2 and 3, despair and then detachment. But most of the texting spiral lives right here, in stage 1. Your system isn't broken, it's doing its job. The problem is that the threat isn't real. They're just driving, or sleeping, or in a meeting with their phone on silent. But your alarm doesn't know that. It only knows, the person isn't responding. Mobilize. So the spiral isn't weakness. It's your nervous system running a fire drill in a building that isn't on fire. The intensity of the alarm has nothing to do with the reality of the threat. It has to do with how your system learned to get attention. And that's the piece that makes this feel so disproportionate. You know, logically, they're probably fine. But knowing doesn't stop the alarm. Because the alarm isn't running on logic. It's running on pattern. Now, one honest caveat here, protest behavior was originally modeled on infants. The adult version is messier, more cognitive, more shaped by context. You're not literally a baby reaching for a caregiver. But the nervous system underneath, that part hasn't changed much. The wiring is the same. The wrapper is different. That spiral you felt at 2 a.m.? It's the infant protest, dressed in adult clothes. So here's the move. 3 steps, 90 seconds. Step 1. Name it out loud. Say the words, "My attachment system is firing." That's it. You're not analyzing it, you're not arguing with it, you're just naming what's happening. The naming alone drops the intensity, because it moves the experience from something is wrong to a system is doing a thing. Step 2. Phone out of reach. Not screen down, not in your pocket. Physically out of reach, across the room, in a drawer, on top of the fridge. Anywhere your thumb can't get to it without standing up and walking. Step 3. 90 seconds. That's all. The acute stress activation from a perceived social threat peaks at about 60 to 90 seconds and begins falling if no new trigger arrives. You're not waiting for the feeling to disappear. You're waiting for the alarm to stop escalating. 90 seconds. Then, and only then, decide if you still want to send something. Most of the time you won't. And here's why: just relax or just don't think about it has never worked for you. In 2016, two researchers, Mario Michelenser and Philip Shaver, published the most comprehensive synthesis of adult attachment research we have. And what they found reframes the entire spiral. The anxious attachment system uses what they called hyperactivating strategies. It deliberately amplifies the bid for closeness. It turns up the volume on purpose. Because somewhere in its history, childhood, a past relationship, a formative absence, louder worked. Someone finally came back when the protest got loud enough. So the system learned, escalate. That's why you can't think your way out of the spiral. The system is designed to override your rational, they're probably fine voice. You can't reason with mobilization. You can only down-regulate the body it's running in. That's why the pause is body first. Name, breathe, ground, not thought first. The body leads. The mind follows. One more honest piece. The labels, anxious, avoidant, secure. They're useful shorthand, but they're a simplified spectrum. Most people aren't purely one style. They shift with context, with partners, with seasons of life. So don't turn this into a verdict on yourself. And here's the thing that makes all of this worth knowing. The pattern isn't permanent. A psychiatrist named Amir Levine and a psychologist named Rachel Heller spent years studying how adults attach, and they confirmed what the research had been pointing to for decades. Attachment style is a learned strategy, shaped by experience, not set at birth, not stamped in stone at age 3. People move toward what researchers call earned security all the time, with awareness, with practice, and often with one relationship that proves the alarm isn't needed at that intensity. Which means the spiral can quiet down. Not because you suppress it, not because you white-knuckle through the panic, but because you retrain the system's expectations. Every time you name the alarm instead of obeying it, every time you give it 90 seconds and watch it fall without acting, you're teaching your system a new thing. Silence doesn't always mean gone. Think about the last time you texted someone 3 times in a row at 2 a.m. Run the 90-second pause on it now, retroactively. Name the alarm. Your attachment system was firing. Remember the body sensation, the tight chest, the racing thoughts, the certainty that something was wrong. And now remember what actually happened. They texted back the next morning. Sorry, fell asleep. The threat was never real. The alarm was. That's the whole thing in one moment. A survival system screaming at full volume over a person who was napping. One honest aside before we close. This is education, not therapy. If the spiral is running your whole life, if you can't sleep, if it's destroying relationships you care about, please talk to a licensed therapist. What we're doing here is naming the mechanism. A professional can help you rewire it. So here's the whole thing. That panic when they go quiet isn't neediness, it's protest behavior. Your attachment system firing an alarm designed to force reconnection. The alarm escalates because silence looks like proof the threat is real. And just relax never works because the system is built to override calm. It amplifies on purpose because louder once worked. But here's the move. Name the activation. Say it out loud. My attachment system is firing. Put the phone out of reach. Give it 90 seconds. The alarm crests and begins to fall. You're not suppressing the feeling. You're giving it 90 seconds to stop being an emergency. That spiral isn't you being too much. It's a survival system doing its job a little too well, and a system can be retrained. So the next time those dots vanish and your chest tightens, before you type anything, name it, put the phone down, and count to 90. That's the whole move. One pause. One pattern retrained, one spiral at a time. Subscribe and carry this one with you the next time it's 2 a.m. and the dots disappear. The Human Code. The science of why you do what you do.